Hello everybody and welcome to my video. Today I am meeting request, which is enhancing my original plan for this video, but will also make it a little bit longer. And the request is that I basically take you through the entire process of what I do for Blitz and explain my thoughts. This is a very involved video. I will basically show everything and except the actual gameplay. I believe I will not show that. I will cut out the gameplay and show all of the end results and just discuss my thought process of what I'm going through. And then I'll show even the picking of the teams, and hopefully this will help you see my mindset on when I'm doing Blitz. This is actually the last day of Blitz and I have been quite busy, so I haven't done much. But I'm going to go back and I'm actually going to hopefully lose a few battles and get myself down to tier 1, the lowest tier, in order to give you guys a better representation of what I do when Blitz is just open. So the first thing I do, as you can see here, I have a beautiful little graphic of Blitz predictions, which I got this from a different Discord server, which is Casino's Discord. You can see his much better graphic on the top left of it. And he puts this up for every single Blitz on that Discord server. And it basically says, well, predictions for how the Blitz will end up. For this Luke Cage, if you want top 1500, it looks like you're going to need between 1.5 and 1.7 million, which is actually feasible for me if I wanted to, but I do not feel like it, and I don't really need Luke Cage that much. I will just probably go for all the milestones, which puts me around the top 10% cutoff of 800 to 850k. So that's a very good number to shoot for if you're wanting top 10%. So if I get all the milestones and top 10%, that's a fair amount of Luke Cage shards. It would actually be enough for me to get him into the Dark Dimension. So I will probably shoot for that, but this is usually the first thing I do when a Blitz opens. It helps me know what I am actually trying. So this is actually where I currently stand, and I am going to try and lose some battles and get myself down to tier 1. And I will be back momentarily. So here we are. I have lost 3 battles, getting me back down to tier 1. I think it was only 3 battles. And now my job is to start building up. Actually, let's see. Let me get back to my roster really quick. There you could see that I was on tier 1. I'm going to show you guys and check things. Let's go towards the bottom of my roster so I can check one thing here. Perfect. Okay, so in the bottom, I have 4 out of 5 characters unlocked, which means I have to leave out 4 characters here. Or I could choose to refresh 1 character, but at the bottom, I don't really feel that bottom 1 team really worth the refreshing of 1 characters. Let's see, let's go back to the bottom. You can see some of my characters were used because I was using those unintentionally losing, because I figured I wouldn't be using them for a while. I'm definitely using Mystique. I'll use Aim Assaulter, Hydra Sniper, Iron Man for sure. I just unlocked him. This will be actually my first use of Iron Man. And who else should I use? Ravager, Bruiser, whatever. Anyways, I will use this team here. It doesn't matter too much. It should be a pretty easy win, but I'm using this team because they are going to be the lowest total points rewarded and should be a good win, and honestly will be a little bit fun. But most of these times, these characters will be the ones you don't have built up, and normally pretty bad because, for instance, Aim is very bad. Hydra is very bad. So you don't want to use them any higher because they actually might lose, and losing isn't helpful. So for this one, I don't really pay too much attention on who I fight. I try and find teams without tanks because those just take longer. They all have tanks. I'm pretty sure this one's a quick win. So I'm going to go win this and I'll be right back. So I am back. I have won that Blitz battle. Basically, your first team doesn't really matter what you pick. Just pick against a good team. And the reason I leave out 4 people is because I have 4 extra people that don't fit on a team, and It's really not worth the refresh, but use as much of your roster as you can and work your way from the bottom to the top. Let's see. 3, 4. I picked those 4 not to use. Aim Monstrosity, Groot, Ronin, Aim Researcher, and Hydra Grenadier. This is my second team I tend to use. They are also not good. I pick, honestly, the only one that actually does anything seems to be Aim Researcher, but I don't use her heal. I only use her to shoot people. And Groot's Death Proof is occasionally annoying. It's not a great team, but it should win this battle. It hasn't lost yet. But, you know, I have actually lost tier 1 battles before because some of these characters are so bad. Let's see. They're all pretty much the same team. Actually, are they all the exact same team? Well, let's see. Which one gets me the most points? One of these two. Let's go this one. Again, another pretty easy win. Even though the team is horrible because it is a low multiplier. And that's what I tend to do. I use my bad low power teams to move myself up the multiplier. This one is a bit of a leftover team that I use simply because, well, it's again a low multiplier and I have leftover characters. So that's Hydra someone, Scientist I'm going to say, Ravager Stitcher. Where's the rest of them? Ravager Boomer, Wasp. Oh, Korath. Korath is no longer as strong as my Juggernaut. I'll use Juggernaut. Anyways, this team, again, some of these characters are actually much better than the other characters, and the power gap is huge, which is not necessarily good, but it's a good enough team to win, and it usually wins pretty quickly. Those first 2 teams I showed you guys take forever, but yeah, building up the multiplier, you have to use some bad teams. It's the way to get the most points. Let's see. For this team, it doesn't really matter. Basically, the strategy is hit as many people as you can, as fast as you can. Taunt the first turn with Juggernaut, then use his, like, I don't know, thing that he runs through people, his ultimate, that's the word, on his second turn, even though it's not fully charged up, because it can take out people pretty quickly on this multiplier, and the battle's pretty much done. Who do I want to fight? Let's fight this one. Right? Yeah. This one is... I was hoping for one without Spider-Man. His dodges annoy me. But let's do this one. Yeah, this one just gets me the most points. Only reason I'm doing it. Another battle down. Now we have, I believe, one more for the first tier, and for that one I am going to be using my Kree team because Kree is not very good. They're all pretty even actually, so they could probably fight a little higher than this, but the rest of my teams are a little better than them. So this team, basically, the purpose of this team, use all your moves as early as you can, do as much damage with them as possible, and take out people as fast as you can. They don't really have much else to their kit. They're pretty simple to use. Honestly, they fight probably just as well on auto as you can probably plan them out. But for this one again, I'm going to fight this team here because it gives me the most points and all the teams are very similar. And now welcome to tier 2. Another easy win, even though this team is pretty bad. Now let's see, what team do I use next? Normally I would use, well, there's one of 2 teams I would use, depending on how I'm feeling. Right now I'm feeling kind of lazy, so I'm going to go with the one closer to the top first, which is the Merc team. It is, again, not very even in power, but it's Merc Lieutenant, it is Bullseye, it is Merc Riot Guard, it is Merc Sniper, and Merc Soldier. They are the Mercs. And I use this team around here, maybe the battle after, because their power gap is quite large, which makes them not nearly as effective as they could be. But they are good nonetheless. Merc Lieutenant is a very good character and definitely is worth leveling up. The only reason that I have some higher than the others is for the payday event. Only some of them have enough stars. And I use Deadpool and Korath for the other spots. What team am I fighting? Okay. With this team, you don't really have a Dispel, so it's better to face teams without taunts. So I'm going to go for this team. This team. It's pretty easy, just do damage. There's an easy win. Next, I use my hand team. Again, most of these teams are pretty simple. You'll notice I tend to keep most of my minion teams together. I don't pay a lot of attention in how I place them. I probably should, but it doesn't really matter at this point. They're pretty easy. And for the most part, I kind of do go through the bottom of my roster, then all my minion teams, other than 8 Hydra name because I didn't keep them together. And I just work my way up through the lowest of my roster, then with the other ones as much as I can, but I go improving quality of minions for the most part, and some of it's a little different because, well, the power gaps, but this team is plenty fine. Used Sentry's stealth as much as possible, use Sorceress's heal as much as possible, and do damage. See who else is up for the role? No, I don't really care. Okay, I kind of care, but I'm good. Did I move that? Whatever. Alright, so this team, what is this? What even is? Okay. Well, this team should be fine. My main suggestion, no, just use the team like it's meant to be used. It's not too difficult of a team, nothing too strategic. Anyways, here I go. Another easy battle won. Now on to my last minion team. And you guys might I actually have this one saved. And you guys will probably wonder why I use this so early. Now look, I'm going to be using my shield team, but there is major power gaps between them, which makes them not nearly as strong as they could be, which is why it's best to keep your teams even power to each other. But I did this so I could unlock Iron Man, and I unlocked Iron Man, so it worked. Eventually I need to get the rest of them up anyways. But yes, now I use my shield team. This team is very simple to use. My main thing is put the trooper between security and medic and let him get off some attacks. But because of the way that this is, it won't be the fastest battle, and it's going to be carried by security and medic. And does it really matter what I do? That's an interesting team. They're double offense upping for no reason, and double defense upping. They're double buffing themselves with every single person. Like, the only thing that's added is speed up. So basically, Kingpin does defense up, and so does the Merc Riot Guard. And Kingpin does offense up, and so does Merc Lieutenant. So on the first turn, there's going to be... Kingpin is basically 100% wasted. Anyways. Yeah. Sure, doesn't really matter. Let's go with this team right here. Don't really have any advice to give you on the shield team. It's pretty self-explanatory. There we go, another win. Now let's see, what do we have next for you guys? The next team I use, let's see, we got that, gone up through there, is basically a mixed match team. We've got Korath, Venom, Nobu, Nebula, and the Hulk. This team is pretty effective. I wouldn't want to use it too high, but it definitely does the job that I need it to do. And wins right here, which gets me on to the next tier. Basically, my main recommendation is use Nobu's summons wisely. Make sure you always have evade on Nebula. And Hulk, his special does some pretty decent damage. What I mean by use Nobu's summons wisely is don't use Nobu's summons first turn against this team, because both Miss Marvel and Punisher's AoEs would take them out, so it is a waste of a move. No. Let's see. I don't want to face this team because it'll just take too long. This team double tank. Double tank it is. It's no real damage output, so it's a pretty safe win. There we go. Another battle won, and I believe we moved up a tier just as we needed to. So let's see what the next team is. The next team actually is my defender's team. It is a solid and good team and can win pretty higher tier battles, but it's very low power, so I use it down here at my first go through. And everyone really knows how to use the defender's team, so I don't really need to discuss that with you all. Another easy win there. Now let's see what we have next for you guys. The next team I use would be, I think it's a team I used to intentionally lose. It is indeed a team I used to intentionally lose. But for you guys, I will gladly refresh them. It is Drax, Hydra Rifle Trooper, Cable, Storm, and where is someone else? Electra. This team basically is extras, with the only synergy I can think of being Storm and Cable. What I do is I use as many basic attacks as possible with Storm until I use her ultimate, and I use as much AoE as possible with Rifle Trooper. And Drax just keep taunting. I kind of just do whatever with Electra. I don't think about her. Cable, the main thing is make sure before you use a special you use the basic at least once so it's charged, because then it's better. Now what team? That's a good team to fight. No, let's go this team. It's always best to fight a team without a tank, or a team with a couple of really bad and slow characters. But this team is a good team to fight. I will do this, but then I've got to go because I have class, and I will finish this video after class. Well, hello everybody. I am not back from class yet. I am actually on my way to class, but I missed my shuttle, so I found out I am walking to class. So I guess you guys are going to get to enjoy some more background sounds of Rome as I walk to class and finish this video. The next team that I use is my Avengers team. Well, my version of the Avengers team. I don't do the same one as most people because I guess the power levels and my characters are all different, and most of my other characters are on different teams. But this is my Avengers team. I go Ant-Man, Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. This team is pretty simple to use and it's quite effective. There's a lot of buff stealing between Ant-Man and Black Widow. There is an ability block with Ant-Man. There's blinds with Hawkeye, stuns with both Black Widow and Thor, and both Captain America and Hawkeye also have dispels. So basically everything you could want, there are two characters that have it. Also there's speed up with Black Widow and slow with Ant-Man, which is some good speed control. Not the Quake Black Widow one, but it's still good. So basically there's not too many specifics on how to use this team, just experiment and get a good feel with it. And let's see, no, don't feel like fighting the defenders. I could fight a hybrid of this team too. By hybrid I meant variant. Or I could fight this team. Let's see, Scarlet Witch, who's going to add deflect. Crossbones will get defense up from Kingpin. I'm just not really liking this team too much. I think I'm going to go for this team here. I'm going to try and out-damage them, which always goes well. Alright, I'll be back and let you know how it went. It worked like a charm. Managed to take out their Quake before she used her slow. So the speed control was really only working for me. The blinds and stuns worked great, took away all their buffs. So it works really well. That team versus the Avengers team that I fought. So my next team here that I will use is going to be my, let's see, this team right here. This is like an AoE team. At one point I had either Punisher or Hydra Rifle Trooper in for Star-Lord. But now I got Star-Lord, which makes this even easier and quicker. So what you do with this team is basically your first turn with Star-Lord, use your blind, then you use your defense down. You use your defense down with Spider-Man, your offense up with Kingpin. Use the blind with Star-Lord, then you use your AoE with Rocket and Crossbones, and hopefully you finish them off. If not, well, a lot of them are dead and low on health, and you finish them off. It usually wins in 2 turns. It's pretty effective, really quick, really efficient, and it's one of my best teams. Easily wins on tier 8. So for this, I want to fight, well, pretty much any team without defense up. I'll easily do this first team. Let's go. I won quite quickly, actually. I managed to win before my Crossbones even had a chance to detonate, which is actually the only issue you have with this team sometimes. You feel like you're going way overkill. I've never lost with this team on any tier, so it is very, very effective, especially if they don't have a tank on the other team. And it went great. So I actually moved up another tier. So now I will go on to my next team, which all my top 5 teams-ish are in my save squads. So let's see. I'm actually going to go with my highest powered team right now because they are not as effective as some of my other teams. They are just a lot of high powered characters thrown together that aren't in a good spot for other teams. So here we have Quake, Yondu, Thanos, Winter Soldier, and Night Nurse. All great characters, just not necessarily meant to go together. You have to be careful with what teams you pick against. Like, it's not really the best to pick against teams with too many tanks. I don't really like facing other Thanoses with it. If you're going against a Quake with your Quake, always slow their Quake first turn so that you can use your AoE before she uses her AoE and kills you. This is actually a great team to face because it leaves an uninterrupted Winter Soldier ultimate first turn on Crossbones, which does a lot of damage, so I think I'm going to go for this one. I have actually made it to class. I won that battle, but I am in my building, so I think I'll take a break. Even though I normally do 2 more battles first, I will take my break now and go to class, and I'll finish the rest up on my way back from class that I would normally do now, and then explain what I do in my second go through. And will gladly spend any cores or charges that were messed up because of this. I'll be back in a bit. So now that we have won this battle and I am back, I will show you the next 2 battles before I would normally take a 2-hour break. And I think it was 2 more battles, let me make sure. Yes, I've used that team. I have indeed used that team. Yes, there are 2 more battles before I normally take a break, so I will show you that and discuss those teams really quickly. Then I will then discuss what will happen after that break. I will actually probably take the 2-hour break because I have a few things to do. So then I will come back and record the rest fresh, as if I was doing this for real, which I am doing it for real along with it, but what I naturally do after a refresh. So here we go. Let's show you the 2 teams. First off, we have this team here, Miss Marvel Brawlers team. It is an amazing team, which I actually made an entire video showcasing. But basically, it's all hero brawlers, so everyone gets a lot of assists, so there's a lot of damage. Advice: don't fight the Guardians team. Some of these characters are pretty squishy, and if you lose them, it really takes a big punch out of it. Don't really go against too many taunts, if possible. You can actually overpower Defender's team pretty quickly, so that's a good matchup. This is a good matchup. You can easily take Crossbones down before he detonates, and then Yondu is pretty good, especially early summons. This would be a good matchup. Let me see. A lot of bleed. Slow, this is probably not the best because Quake Slow will definitely take effect. And if Scarlet Witch extends that, that just becomes a big pain in the butt even more. A lot of debuffs spread around. I think the best bet is this team here. So I'm going to fight this team and I'll be right back. So yes, that was a very quick and easy victory for this team. I really love this team. It's very effective. Definitely make a Miss Marvel Brawlers team if you can. Black Panther goes well with her. Deadpool goes well with her. Find your own teams. Again, does not go well against a strong Guardians team, unfortunately. Mind you, that was on tier 8 on the highest part, but it can actually backfire, which is actually in one of my videos, but anyways, it can go wrong. But this team is very, very effective on tier 8. It's fantastic. I highly recommend working on a team similar to this. Now I'll go to my last team here that I use. It is my Mystic team. It is very controller. Super, super controlling. Like, it does all things controlling. It is my best, most efficient, most effective team. It's only ever lost once, and that was because some really crazy bad RNG. Like, Spider-Man literally dodged 7 times, and I think an Elektra revived 5 times. And it just got to the point where it was getting ridiculous, and I wasn't even upset when I lost because it was so infuriating. It was like, thank God that's over. But this team is very, very effective. I highly recommend making a team like this. A Vision Scarlet Witch team is great. A Mordo Scarlet Witch team is great. Loki provides a lot of damage, and then the summons. It sounds weird, but that's kind of a way of sustaining this team. It keeps it alive longer because then there's the summons with the evades and the stealth. And it's worst case scenario, Doctor Strange has a revive. The Winds of Watun for Strange flip everything. Vision can clear everything, and because he's with Scarlet Witch, causes bleeds on everyone. Scarlet Witch doesn't have a heal, but she can spread out health and give them all a deflect, which blocks. She extends debuffs. This team is filled with great, great things, and I highly recommend making teams with a bunch of controllers to figure out how it interacts so you can get good character interactions, which is very important for some high-end content, and it's a really effective team and it's really fun to use. Actually, yesterday when I used this team on a tier 8 Blitz matchup, not yesterday, day before, the last Blitz, the Orb Assault Blitz, whenever that was, I did a tier 8 matchup with this team, and that got to a point when it was Doctor Strange's turn and he had his revive available, and I used it just to see how much health everyone had, and it turned out not a single person on the other team managed to actually get a single attack to land on my entire team in the whole Blitz battle. I won without taking any damage, so this team is great. Highly recommend using a team like this. I will go win this battle and then come back. I am just realizing that I actually did not pick a battle and tell you about it. So this team is an easy win because you can blind Punisher, and that takes a lot of the effectiveness of this. And if they get any buffs up, you can either flip them with Strange or clear them all with Vision, which is very good. This is an easy one because the mind control will take a big chunk out of Crossbones. You can blind Quake, so she's not effective. Extend that, and then flip Luke Cage's buffs when they come. This is one team that it actually would be fine, but I wouldn't want to fight against. It's just long. Thanos, you can't really get rid of his taunts, so if they have too much damage on the rest of the place, they can cause some issues. So I'm going to fight this team because it gives... Yes, I'm going to fight the defenders because it actually gives me the most points out of this and the other team that I thought was a good matchup, and I will be back. Again, another easy victory, another tier moved up. So where does that leave us at this point? It leaves us at, without using any refreshes, which would be one playthrough of my roster, tier 5, and about 100 and, let's pretend the 11,000 points from the beginning weren't there, 124,000 points, which is pretty good and effective. Now, to get to tier 8, I need to win 4 battles to get to tier 6, 8 battles to get to tier 7, and then 12 battles to get to tier 8. So the way that I normally do that is, and you will see this, I will refresh my Thanos team for these next 4 battles and get these and move up to a tier that's higher, because that's the least likely to win, but it will win at that level. And then I'll move up and take those points. Then I will go to my Star-Lord Rocket Crossbones team, just because it has the least amount of power of my remaining teams, and that will get me onto tier 7. Then I'll do my Miss Marvel Brawlers team, which again is the last 3 teams are very, very effective and very consistent winning teams, as well as a few others. And I'll use that to get me up to tier 8. And then I will use my Mystics on tier 8 because that is by far my most effective team. And I will refresh them all for all the 25 refreshes. And that will put me actually well above that, and a couple of the tiers were a little off because I'll have the free battle. But point being, for my second time through, after I'm finished that, I am at tier 8, and any battles I do at that point will be at the highest level. Then I maintain